Qin Feng traveled to a new world where the real world and the elf world merged, and inherited the family's 10,000 acres of land. In class, the test is not about language, math, or English, but about the complete collection of elf attributes. In the sky, rows of birds fly in the wind. In the forest, Jie Chao and Hercules competed for the honey produced by the 3 bees. On the ground, elf hunters are hurriedly evading the police's capture. This world is both beautiful and very dangerous. Fortunately, Qin Feng can become stronger as long as he improves the picture book and completes the task. And the crops planted also possess magical abilities that can enhance the power of elves. And the elves eating the crops produced by the farm also began to become strange. Mr. Qin Feng, may I ask why the large milk tank that produces milk on your farm has the power of a king? The journalist asked. Qin Feng looked at the grass next to him, eating grass in a large milk can with muscles like a dragon. With a calm expression, he said, it should be the reason why the big milk can often exercise. Everything starts with the farmer of 10,000 acres of land. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Inheriting 10,000 acres of farmland at the beginning, seeking fresh flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. P.S. All readers should pay attention to this point. Before reading this book, clear the reading cache in the software settings. Due to the reason for changing the article, many people see a different first chapter from the one I have modified, so it is necessary to clear the reading cache to avoid reading obstacles. On a rural road in Song Province. A bus is walking along this rural road towards the faintly visible village ahead. Qin Feng leaned against the car window, gazing at the scenery outside. A few fierce sparrows were chirping recklessly, driving away the waves that came to their territory. Beside the road, some little lottas were curiously looking at the passing buses. In the distant farmland, there were golden rice growing all over. The old farmer bent over and cut the rice, placing it in a nearby trailer filled with rice. He hit the ghost and pulled the trailer, pulling the full rice towards the village. All of this looked so beautiful. However, Qin Feng's face was somewhat bitter and helpless. He is a reborn person who, 18 years ago, was born into a new world where modern technology and the elven world merge. My father was a police officer, but unfortunately he sacrificed himself before Qin Feng was born for his mission of capturing elf hunters. And due to health reasons, my mother also went with my father shortly after I was born, and I became an orphan right after I was born. In the end, Qin Feng could only be raised by his only remaining relative, who was Qin Feng's second grandfather. And Grandpa is very old, without any offspring, and his health is not good. He is hospitalized all year round. Even if he started a career in his youth, he was ultimately dragged down by the cost of treatment and passed away a few years ago. Xiaofeng, from today on, you will be alone in this world. Your child has had many misfortunes, and your parents left you unexpectedly since childhood. Now, second grandpa is also leaving you. Because of my illness, my family has been dragged down, and I don't have anything left for you. You will inherit the 10,000 acres of land passed down from your ancestors, become a farmer, live a peaceful life, and continue our Qin family. Qin Feng vaguely remembers the last words left by his second grandfather in the hospital. When the Qin family was founded in the Dragon Kingdom, one of their ancestors became a prominent official and allocated 10,000 acres of farmland as assets. After the death of Grandpa the Qin family left him alone, and the inheritance rights were naturally handed over to him. After graduating from high school, all other classmates continued to study at Elf University, except for themselves, who inherited 10,000 acres of land. At the beginning, my fate was full of misfortune. It's good to be a stable farmer and live a good life. Qin Feng murmured helplessly to himself in his heart. Let's go. As the bus honked its horn, it indicated that the destination had arrived. Qin Feng got off the car expressionlessly, and a gentle breeze blew in. Looking at the desolate scenery around him, he felt as if there were crows flying by in the sky, with ellipses on them. Are you Qin Feng? Judging from your attire, that's right. Your second grandfather greeted me before. At this moment, an old man came to Qin Feng's side from under a roadside sign. Beside him, there were also two wind speed dogs. Looking at the other person's face, Qin Feng remembered the instructions from Grandpère. Qin Feng forced himself and said, "Are you Grandpa Song? My second grandfather told me about you." Grandpa Song smiled and said, "I didn't expect that your old Qin family would even have someone inherit these 10,000 acres of farmland. I thought you didn't want it anymore, it really surprised me. I am the village chief here. Your Qin family's 10,000-acre farmland is a bit far from here. Your second grandfather has said hello to me and asked me to come and take care of you." "Excuse me, Grandpa Song," Qin Feng replied, and could not help roast. "There's no way, at the beginning, how can I survive the flower that I don't inherit?" Grandpa Song smiled as if he was very satisfied with Qin Feng. He sat on top of the wind speed dog and said, "Sit up. With the wind speed dog around, we will soon be able to reach your 10,000-acre farmland. They are good children, and protecting farmland depends on them." Wei. A wind speed dog came to Qin Feng's side, bent down slightly, turned its head to look at Qin Feng and let out a cry. The wind speed dog has a large body size, with a head taller than Qin Feng, more than 1.9 meters. I only watched it on TV in my past life, but now when I look at it in this life, it gives me a strong sense of intimidation. Could you please? Qin Feng sat on the wind speed dog and touched its head, furry. It seems that to take care of Grandpa Song, neither of the two wind speed dogs was fast. After more than 10 minutes, they crossed the village and arrived at a boundary where grasslands, forests, and lakes intersect. On the grassland, Nidoran and Nidoran cuddled up together, one by one. Behind them, two Nidorinos were fighting against each other, vying for the heart of the nearby one. BB birds flew over the blue sky one by one, and the green caterpillars below trembled with fear from this scene. This is the location of your farm, and all you see is your land. There is a small house in front of you that was decades old. I had someone help you tidy it up not long ago, and you can move in with your bag. With such a large area of land, you can't be busy alone. Just familiarize yourself with it these days. Not to mention that you've fully developed it, at least try to cultivate what you can use. If you want sustainable development, I suggest you hire more people. I live in Huansao village behind me. If you need anything, just ask me in the village. I have already prepared some necessary agricultural tools and other items for you. Let's go. Grandpa Song brought Qin Feng here, gave some instructions, and then left with the wind dog. And Qin Feng looked at the endless land in front of him alone, looking very melancholy. Well, being a casual farmer is also good, at least one's life won't be threatened. Qin Feng murmured, in this world, it's actually not safe either. There are elves in the wilderness, and terrorists in the city with elves. He is very clear about the power of elves. However, Qin Feng perked up and looked at the screen that appeared in front of him. Congratulations to the host for arriving at their farm. We are now launching the farm system novice gift pack. Reward 1 chance to draw a sprite. 10 sprite balls. 1 bottle of small healing spray. Looking at the words in front of Qin Feng, hope suddenly rose in his heart. Inheriting 10,000 acres of farmland at the beginning, will become a world-renowned farmer in the future. Chapter 2. Ibrahimovic and the New Home, Seeking Collection and Fresh Flowers. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. System, extract sprites. In front of Qin Feng, something resembling an egg-twisting machine appeared, with round balls inside, and many shadows of elves could be faintly seen. As the rotation stopped, a small ball fell into the exit and eventually appeared in Qin Feng's sight. This is an Ibrahimovic. As the result of the extraction appeared, a spirit ball appeared in Qin Feng's hand. Is this my first elf, IB? Qin Feng felt a little excited in his heart. In the Dragon Kingdom, only adults are allowed to have their first elf. However, Qin Feng was thrown into this small village as soon as he reached adulthood, so naturally there was no first elf. Come out, Ibrahimovic. Qin Fengzhong imitates the movements and words of Jie throwing a ball in his previous life. The elf hung in mid-air and finally opened to project a ray of light. The light slowly condensed and a furry creature appeared before Qin Feng's eyes. Ibrahimovic. Ibu raised his fluffy tail and twisted his head to look at the Qin Feng ahead, making a sticky and creaking sound. And beside it, data belonging to it also appeared. Name. Ibrahimovic, gender. Female, attribute. General, level. 10, feature. Hazard prediction, individual values. Stamina, 31, attack, 31, defense, 31, special attack, 31, special defense, 31, speed, 31, skills. Impact, wag tail, splash sand, lightning flash, dig a hole. Although it was the first time seeing a human in front of him, Ibrahimovic felt that he seemed to be very friendly to the human in front of him, and even wanted to get closer. Surprisingly, it's a 6v Ibrahimovic, truly drawn from the system. Qin Feng's face was full of excitement. He didn't feel disappointed when he hit Ibu. Instead, he smiled and extended his hand to it, saying, "First time we meet, Ibu. From now on, I will be your trainer. Please give me more guidance in the future." Ibrahimovic, sensing Qin Feng's kindness, Ibu bounced up to Qin Feng, and his small paws also followed Qin Feng's movements and put him up. Qin Feng took advantage of the situation and grabbed Ibu, then held him in his arms. He leaned his head against the fluffy hair on Ibu's neck and took a deep breath, revealing a satisfied expression. It's fluffy and has a faint smoky aroma on its body. It's really nice, Qin Feng couldn't help but chuckle, while Ibu not only wasn't scared by Qin Feng's sudden action, but also rubbed his head with a smile. Let's go and see what kind of home we will be staying at in the future. Qin Feng dragged his suitcase and headed towards the house that Grandpa Song had mentioned. That is a 2-story cottage, which, from the outside, has at least 200 to 300 square meters. However, behind the cottage, there is a large courtyard with some rolled-up hay blocks placed inside. Arriving at the cottage, Qin Feng calmed down for a moment and then pushed open the door. The interior of the cabin was different from what Qin Feng had imagined. Some of the things that can be seen in modern and ordinary rural areas are combined, but they are all there. There is a frame next to the shoe cabinet at the door, which is filled with agricultural tools. It has to be said that Grandpa Song is still very reliable. At least Qin Feng didn't need to prepare anything on his own, and he really did what he called carrying a bag and checking in. Arriving in an unfamiliar environment, Ibu also appeared a bit nervous. After jumping out of Qin Feng's arms, he looked around in the cabin. It's good to be familiar with the environment. Qin Feng smiled and looked around the house with Ibu, taking a look at both the 2 floors and the attached courtyard. Afterwards, Ibrahimovic became somewhat interested and occasionally looked out the window. "Do you want to go play?" Qin Feng asked with a smile. Ibrahimovic Ibu nodded and looked at Qin Feng with both eyes, as if expecting his answer. "Let me go with you. I just arrived at my new home today and I'm not in a hurry to cultivate the land. Let's go around and see what the land that will belong to me in the future looks like," Qin Feng said with a smile. Upon hearing Qin Feng's answer, Ibu happily ran to the door and pushed it open, rushing towards the outside. This world is very rich in resources, and all the elves from the past are distributed around the world. The world is also many times the size known to Qin Feng in the past. Since he has taken over these 10,000 acres of farmland, with Qin Feng's temperament, it is inevitable that he will complete the entire farmland. Although it's not very realistic at the moment, there must be a goal. Qin Feng's big farmer in his heart is not a joke. Firstly, it is crucial to understand what kind of elves are distributed within one's 10,000 acres of farmland. Qin Feng still remembers a novel he had read in his past life. It is said inside that elves are the primary productive forces. I won't say anything about hiring people in the later stage, but at least Qin Feng agrees with this statement. Some elves, their functions and daily life, can bring great value to farming. Stepping out of the house, there is a vast grassland ahead, with forests on both sides. The grassland is fine, but the forest is troublesome. In the future, it will take time to cut down. In this world, unauthorized logging will also be subject to legal sanctions. However, these 10,000 acres of farmland are Qin Feng's private land, and the country cannot control them here. Well, the forest on the left should be cut down first, and some areas should be enclosed for farmland cultivation. Perhaps some trees and fruits can also be cultivated. However, cutting down trees can be a bit troublesome, so we need to ask a lumberjack to bring big armor and flying mantis to come and cut them down. I don't know if there are flying mantis and big armor in the forest. If there are, find a chance to tame a few, so as to save money on hiring lumberjacks. This lake is also very large. In the future, I can cultivate some aquatic products here, such as pearl oysters and sun corals. Pearl oysters produce pearls, and the corals produced by sun corals have high medicinal value, which is not cheap. The grassland would be even better if it were fenced off to make a pasture, sprinkled with grass seeds, and in less than a month, it could grow very lush. When the time comes, you can buy some large milk cans and directly eat the grass to produce milk. Not long after, Qin Feng roughly looked at the environment he could currently see and had a framework blueprint in his mind. He had already figured out how to develop in the future. But taking one bite doesn't make you fat, and you have to take things step by step. Ibrahimovic, listening to Qin Feng's murmurs, although Ibu couldn't quite understand, he still gave a response, providing full emotional value. Qin Feng smiled and was about to touch its furry head, but the next moment, the bushes ahead suddenly shook. This sudden situation immediately made Qin Feng nervous. As an elf, Ibrahimovic even knew what was hidden in the bushes through his sense of smell, looking like he was facing a formidable enemy. P.S. Seeking flowers and evaluation tickets. Chapter 3. Conquering the Gopher, Seeking flowers and evaluation tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Suddenly, a mound of soil emerged from under the bushes and quickly approached Qin Feng's side. The mound also spread rapidly, leaving the ground as if it had been plowed. And as the distance got closer, Qin Feng also saw clearly who the unwelcome guest was. It sprouted an oval-shaped head, 2 vertical eyes, and a big red nose, just like a mole. Name: Gopher. Gender: male. Property: ground level. 8. Feature: sand hidden. Individual values: stamina 8, attack 18, defense 12, special attack 11, special defense 14, speed 22, skills: grab, splash sand, cry, dig a hole. Being able to see information about elves is the ability bestowed upon Qin Feng by the system. It's actually a mole rat. Qin Feng was slightly surprised, but then became passionate and said, after passing by the ground squirrels, the soil will be properly turned over, and their feces will also make the soil fertile, making it the most suitable field for cultivation. Therefore, many farmers will carefully cultivate them. I happen to be thinking about how to cultivate the land tomorrow. Isn't this the problem that needs to be solved? Qin Feng has decided to tame this mole and let it help him cultivate his field tomorrow. Ibrahimovic, we're ready for battle. IB. Ibrahimovic was full of energy and his expression suddenly became serious. Farm task. First battle, task description. In these 10,000 acres of farmland, there are countless elves living. They have not had much contact with humans, and you will suffer a lot of trouble in the future because of this. For your own future, please defeat the mole rat in front of you. Task reward: 3 Pokémon balls. Farm task: conquer the gophers. Task description: due to the unique nature of the mole rat, it will be of great help to you in cultivating farmland in the future. As a new farmer, you urgently need an elf to help you. Therefore, please tame this mole rat. Task reward: high quality Wang Valley. Surprisingly, there are still tasks. Besides, the rewards are also very good. Qin Feng was slightly taken aback, then became excited and gave an order to Ibu. Ibrahimovic, keep an eye on its direction and use a flash of lightning. IB. Ibrahimovic stepped out with his small feet, his body suddenly shrouded in white light, and his speed surged towards the mole. The mole wriggled its body and then burrowed into the ground, easily avoiding Ibrahimovic's attack. Ibrahimovic stopped not far away and looked around without seeing the figure of the mole, his expression becoming somewhat nervous. Don't be nervous, Ibu. The mole is hiding underground. We'll use digging to force it out. Qin Feng gave timely advice. And this is one of the meanings of trainers. IB. With Qin Feng's reminder, Ibu quickly eased his emotions, and then began digging under him with both claws. In no time, he could no longer see its figure. Remember, when you see a mole, use a flash of lightning to push it out of the ground. The ground is our battlefield. I couldn't see the situation underground, but Qin Feng still gave the order in a timely manner. Not long after, Qin Feng heard Ibu's shouting. Immediately after, at a cave entrance, the mole flew out like a missile and hit the ground heavily. And Ibrahimovic's agile figure jumped out of the hole, his eyes filled with war intent as he looked at the mole. Well done, while it hasn't calmed down yet, use the electric flash again. IB. Ibrahimovic's body once again burst into a brilliant white light, and his body suddenly rushed towards the ground squirrel. With a crisp roar, the newly risen ground squirrel was directly knocked away by Ibrahimovic, hitting an ancient tree heavily before falling to the ground without any movement. Coming. Qin Feng's face was full of excitement, and at some point an extra Poké ball appeared in his hand. He then threw it out and said, "Go, Poké ball." The elf ball flew out and landed steadily on the ground mouse, then bounced back into mid-air. The Pokémon ball opened and a beam of light immediately shot towards the ground squirrel, whose body disappeared in the next moment and entered the Pokémon ball along with the light. The Pokémon ball fell to the ground and began to shake. Under the tense waiting of Qin Feng and Ibu, the Pokémon ball shook 3 times and then stopped shaking. Successfully subdued. Qin Feng walked forward and picked up the mole's elf ball, his expression full of excitement. I have seen countless scenes in anime in my past life and fantasized about them countless times in my heart. Now, it's right in front of me. Qin Feng wanted to excitedly raise the Poké ball and shout, "I have subdued the mole." But when he saw Ibu's gaze, he could only cough and pretend to be mature, squatting down and placing the Poké ball in front of Ibu. It will be our future companions. Ibrahimovic, let's take it out for treatment, after all, it was a bit seriously injured just now. Qin Feng released the mole from the elf ball. The mole suddenly appeared in front of him, looking at Qin Feng and Ibu in front of him. The mole showed a panicked expression and instinctively wanted to escape directly. Wait a minute, mole. I'm your trainer now and I won't harm you. Qin Feng immediately spoke up. Upon hearing Qin Feng's words, the mole's escape stopped, but it still had a nervous expression on its face. It still remembered the scene when it was violently beaten by IB earlier. But for some reason, it saw Qin Feng in front of it with a sense of familiarity, which was also one of the reasons why it stopped. Qin Feng didn't know what it was thinking. After seeing the ground mouse stop, Qin Feng took out a small therapeutic spray that was rewarded by the system and sprayed it at several wounds on the ground mouse's body. The small therapeutic spray is very effective, and after a few minutes, there are no obvious injuries on the hamster's body, and the spirit is also much better. Although it has not fully recovered, it is no longer a major issue. From now on, we will be companions, hamsters. Please give us more guidance. Qin Feng smiled and extended his hand to the mole. And when Ibrahimovic saw this, he also smiled and squeezed over, extending his own little paw. The ground mouse raised its head and looked at Qin Feng and Ibu in front of it. After hesitating for a while, it moved its body and touched it, which was considered a response. Great, tomorrow's cultivation will be settled. Qin Feng stood up. Just now, he had received the system's reward, and everything was stored in the space provided by the system. As long as Qin Feng wants, he can get it anytime. Ibrahimovic is still in a very excited state and wants to continue exploring a region of location. It's already a bit late, and the sun is about to set. Let's go back first. Qin Feng looked at the late hour and spoke up. The forest and wilderness at night are not safe. Ibrahimovic Dibden felt a bit disappointed. Seeing its adorable appearance, Qin Feng couldn't help but hold it in his arms and comforted, "Don't worry, this place belongs to my farmland. The days ahead are still long, and we have plenty of time to explore." Ibrahimovic is also very easygoing, not the kind of unreasonable fuss. When he heard Qin Feng's answer, he was very happy to respond. After retrieving the mole from the poke ball, Qin Feng returned home with Ibu. Chapter 4. Reclaiming Farmland, Unexpected Intruders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After returning to the cabin, Qin Feng was ready to cook dinner. When he arrived at the kitchen, he had everything he should have. After taking a look at the food in the refrigerator, Qin Feng started cooking rice. Subsequently, Qin Feng set up a pot, beat the egg mixture, processed the tomatoes, heated the oil, poured in the egg mixture, stir-fried until half-cooked, and served. Then burn the oil again, add the scallions to stir-fry until fragrant, add the tomatoes to stir-fry until the juice comes out, add a little salt to stir-fry, and then add the previous eggs. Before long, a plate of stir-fried tomato and scrambled eggs with all colors, smells and flavors will be ready to stir-fry. Qin Feng put the bowl with stir-fried tomato and scrambled eggs on the table after he packed the meal. Then I arrived at the corner of the kitchen, where there was a bag of elf food. This was not brought by Qin Feng. After all, Qin Feng himself didn't think too much about it. Obviously, it was Grandpa Song who had a good idea and put it here for now. Fortunately, it's like this. Otherwise, Qin Feng wouldn't know where to prepare food for Ibu and the mole. Find 2 bowls suitable for placing elf food, fill them with food, and under the hopeful gaze of the 2 elves, Qin Feng smiled and placed the elf food in front of them. Eat it, I'm not ready today. I'll let you have the best food later. Qin Feng smiled and said. Ibrahimovic sand. 2 little ones only responded with 1 sentence, and then they started eating. Upon seeing this, Qin Feng sat down at the dining table and began to eat dinner. However, the eating habits of the 2 little ones are really very different. Ibrahimovic doesn't know if it's due to gender or his own reasons. Eating elf food is very elegant, taking it slowly one by one. And the mole rat was like a bulldozer, its head pouncing on the plate and devouring it fiercely. Qin Feng looked at him with a smile on his face, but did not stop him. After all, he was not pedantic, and there were not so many rules here. At night, after taking a shower, Qin Feng lay in bed holding Ibu, who had also taken a shower. Stroking the furry fur, I fell asleep. Early the next morning. Ibrahimovic. With Ibu's shout, Qin Feng awkwardly got up from the bed. Perhaps it was because Qin Feng slept too comfortably holding the furry IB, and his hands were a bit dishonest. In the morning, Ibrahimovic found that all his hair was messy, and he even vaguely felt that his trainer had dropped some liquid on his hair. Don't think too much about it. This made IB feel very angry, and his cheeks on both sides bulged with anger, staring angrily at Qin Feng. However, this seems to Qin Feng. It's even cuter now. Ibrahimovic, I didn't mean to, I definitely won't do this next time. Qin Feng immediately apologized, stating that he would never do it again in the future, which was why he was forgiven by Ibu. After a series of movements, Ibu finished taking a shower, and Qin Feng took a comb and slowly combed its hair. As for the comb, Qin Feng didn't know why there was a comb in the bedside table. It can only be attributed to Grandpa Song, who has fully considered it. After breakfast, Qin Feng carried a hoe and took Ibu to the land near the forest that he had seen yesterday. There is some distance from the lake, but the land is moist and suitable for cultivation. Come out, mole. Qin Feng took out the mole's spirit ball and released it. Subsequently, holding a hoe, it took a whole morning to cultivate a 10 by 10 piece of land. There's no way, just planning takes some time, and Qin Feng is someone who has never done heavy work before. It took him a whole morning to barely cultivate such a little land. Groundhog, do you understand what I mean? According to the land I have cultivated, you can dig it once on these lands. Qin Feng explained to the mole. Sand. The mole nodded and followed Qin Feng's instructions to start digging on the land that Qin Feng had cultivated. The groundhog was digging at a fast pace, and in less than 10 minutes, the 10 by 10 piece of land was dug and cultivated by it. Looking at the refreshed and vibrant land, Qin Feng walked forward and took out the rewarded Wangwang Valley from the system space. Wangwang Valley is packed in a small bag, although the quantity is not large, it is more than enough to fill this 10 by 10 area of land. Wangwang Valley, Qin Feng remembers that it is a product of the game of Arcus in the past life, which is the ancient Shinao region. It is said to have high nutritional value and is the favorite food of the elves on land. And in Wangwangu, Qin Feng checked on the internet with his phone last night, but it's not available on the internet. It is autumn now, so it is not reasonable to plant crops. In the introduction of the system, it only takes 1 month for Wangwang Valley to complete its growth and fruiting. You can harvest in just 1 month. So Qin Feng decided without hesitation to cultivate farmland and plant Wangwang Valley, so that he could harvest it in a month. However, Qin Feng probably won't gain much either, but it's definitely enough for him and the elves to eat, and he still needs to leave seeds. After winter, it is possible to cultivate more farmland, cultivate more prosperous valleys, and even reach a point where they can be sold. Of course, it's too early to say these things now. IB. Watching Qin Feng sow, Ibu was also very interested. IB, do you also want to sow together? IB. Sand. Both elves replied to Qin Feng's words at this moment. Qin Feng immediately smiled and distributed a portion of the seeds to them, each responsible for several farmland. After finally burying the seeds of Wangwang Valley in the farmland, Qin Feng stood up and eased his stiff waist. This body is really bad enough. No, I'm a young person, and my body must be top-notch. It's definitely because it's my first time working. I'll get used to it when I get used to it. Qin Feng would not admit that this is due to his own physical condition. Looking at the well-cultivated and already sown farmland in front of Qin Feng, a sense of pride suddenly rose in his heart. This is just the first step for me to become a big farmer. Qin Feng spoke confidently. IB. Sand. The two little ones also crossed their waists and responded. Sha sha. Sha sha. But suddenly, the rustling sound of leaves came into Qin Feng's ears. Coincidentally, a fallen leaf also landed on Qin Feng's head. Qin Feng reached out to grab the fallen leaves, then frowned slightly and looked at the sound. I saw 2 monkey monsters staring at the ancient tree not far away. To be precise, it's a small bag in Qin Feng's hand containing Wangwang Valley. Is the attraction of Wangwang Valley so great? Just some fragrant seeds have attracted 2 wild monkey monsters. Qin Feng frowned slightly, not afraid of these 2 monkey monsters, but thinking that it was only this that attracted the 2 monkey monsters. If Wangwang Valley is ripe, wouldn't it be even more troublesome? It seems that defense measures need to be prepared as soon as possible. Gopher. Get ready for battle. P.S. Seeking fresh flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Newcomers new book, the first day's data represents whether we can continue writing. Please provide support. This book is about farming, life, and combat. Chapter 5. Conquering 2 monkey monsters, seeking flowers for comments. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Haga. Huijiao. Seeing Ibrahimovic and the Gopher in a combat posture, the 2 monkey monsters immediately gritted their teeth, as if trying to scare away the 2 little ones. Qin Feng looked at them quietly, but did not underestimate them at all. He is truly a wild elf with a cautious nature. Even though the monkey monsters are extremely irritable elves, they did not immediately take action at this time because they were 2 on 2. Name. Monkey monster, gender. Male, attribute. Fighting, level. 9, feature. Motivation, individual values. Stamina, 16, attack, 20, defense, 31, special attack, 14, special defense, 12, speed, 15, skills. Grab, stare, scratch, kick down, gather chi. The levels and individual values of the 2 monkey monsters are similar, with the only difference being 1 male and 1 female. Haga. Before Qin Feng could react, the 2 monkey monsters lifted their tails, followed by a force from the upside-down golden hook, and their bodies immediately rushed towards Ibu and the mole. Ibrahimovic, don't be afraid, just a flash of lightning. Groundhog, dig a hole and hide. Seeing the 2 little ones panicking due to their limited combat experience, Qin Feng immediately ordered. Although Qin Feng is only in his 2nd battle now, he knows that if he, as a trainer, panics, the elves will also be affected and will be defeated without fighting. So no matter what, trainers cannot panic. Ibrahimovic quickly triggered a flash of lightning and charged towards the monkey monster not far in front of him at an extremely astonishing speed. The groundhog, on the other hand, quickly obeyed orders and dug towards the ground. The monkey monster responsible for attacking it could only land next to the cave. Looking at the disappearing mole, it angrily hammered the ground, venting its anger. Bang! On the other hand, Ibrahimovic's terrifying speed made the monkey monster misjudge. Before it could swing its claws halfway, its body suffered a heavy blow and then flew backwards, landing heavily on the ground. The appearance of intense pain made the monkey monster's eyes turn red and instantly angry. It was like forgetting the pain, even without any extra thoughts, rushing towards Ibrahimovic at a fast pace. Ibrahimovic, one more flash of lightning to defeat it. Gopher, come out. Qin Feng ordered again, and as the words fell, the ground squirrel suddenly emerged from under one of the ground squirrels. The sudden emergence of strange power immediately knocked the monkey monster into the sky. The monkey monster was in the sky, not grabbing anything, and even if it was extremely angry, it could not unleash it, holding back to the extreme. Finally landing on the ground, Qin Feng even heard the sound of bones cracking. It struggled to stand up, but found that one of its legs was in excruciating pain, even losing consciousness, which immediately made it extremely frightened. Looking into the eyes of Qin Feng and the mole, it seemed as if they were looking at a monster. On the other side, following Qin Feng's orders, Ibrahimovic rushed out again, but Ibrahimovic was 6v full and his speed was even faster. This monkey monster didn't even have time to react and was hit by Ibrahimovic again. In the end, Ibrahimovic knelt in front of the ancient tree in a disheveled state, his breath weak. I have no choice, this is the wilderness. You are wild elves who have not come into contact with humans. For myself and my Wangwang Valley, I can only do this. Looking at the miserable situation of the two monkey monsters, Qin Feng sighed helplessly and then took out the Pokemon ball. He is not the Virgin Mary, and this world is not the elf world in previous TV shows. Even the elf world in previous TV shows is not always beautiful. It is also often reported that adventurers are chased and killed by elves with strong territorial consciousness such as ape monsters and circle bears in the wild. Come with me, I will treat you. They were only for food and did not attack Qin Feng. Coincidentally, Qin Feng is currently short of manpower, and the two monkey monsters can make up for it. Qin Feng threw 2 elf balls and successfully subdued the 2 monkey monsters. The injuries of 2 monkey monsters are severe and require prompt treatment, and one of them has a broken bone. Even the treatment spray provided by the system cannot cure it. So, they can only be quickly sent to the nearby elf center. I just don't know if there is an elf center nearby. Looking at the newly cultivated farmland in front of him, Qin Feng could only pray in his heart that nothing unexpected should happen during his departure. When he returns, he will immediately take defensive measures to protect the farmland. The mole, we're leaving. After saying a word to the 2 little ones, Qin Feng ran towards the village with the elf ball in his hand. Quickly arriving at the village, Qin Feng saw an old farmer holding a sickle, following the trailer dragged by the striking ghost. It was the old farmer Qin Feng saw in the car when he came here yesterday. Seeing Qin Feng, a stranger approaching, the strike ghost immediately gave up the trailer, pulled the black belt around his waist, and then stared closely at Qin Feng. Don't be unreasonable, strike the ghost. The old farmer stood behind the striking ghost and patted it, then walked out to look at Qin Feng and said, "Little one, it seems like I've seen you for the first time. Where did you come from? What's the matter with your anxious and flustered appearance?" "Hello, my name is Qin Feng. The first time we met, I only came to Huansao village yesterday. My home is right behind the village, and that 10,000 acres of farmland is mine. Uncle, may I ask if there is an elf center nearby? Or is there any place where I can treat elves? I have 2 elves who have been seriously injured and need timely treatment." Upon hearing the old farmer's question, Qin Feng didn't have time to go find the village chief. He quickly spoke up and didn't pay attention to the action of striking the ghost. It is to protect its owner. The old farmer looked at the 2 elf balls in Qin Feng's hand and then said, "There is no elf center near us, even in a few surrounding villages. However, as long as the injury is not particularly serious, there is an elf doctor in our village, and you can seek his help for treatment. It's at least an hour or 2 by car from the city here, and if it's too long, it might really delay things." So Qin Feng immediately made plans and said, "Since that's the case, could you please lead the way, uncle? I'm not very familiar with this place. Of course, I happen to have nothing to do at my leisure. I'm preparing and cracking down on ghosts to clean up the weeds. Come with me." The old farmer nodded, leading the way with the strike ghost. Qin Feng followed closely and soon arrived at a small house in the village, where he could smell a scent of medicine from afar. "Xiao Xian, I brought you guests." The old farmer shouted at the door and then looked at Qin Feng, "That's it. Xiao Xian is the only doctor in our village. Although she is young, her medical skills are very advanced. If the elf is injured or if you are injured in the future, you can come here for treatment." As he spoke, the door of the cabin was pushed open, and then a beautiful shadow appeared in Qin Feng's sight. P.S. Seeking flowers and evaluation tickets, the first day data represents whether to cut books, please everyone. Chapter 6. Dr. Luo Xian, Exploring the Forest, Seeking Fresh. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can I still have new customers in this Huansao village? As soon as the beautiful shadow appeared, cold words accompanied it. This is a woman with extraordinary temperament, with a head of black hair casually tied up at the back of her head. She is dressed in an elegant white dress with a continuous fragrance of medicine, proving that she is the doctor. Her face was as cold as ice, and her eyes were as deep as the sea, as if nothing in the world could make her calm heart ripple. Xiao Xian, this kid was new yesterday. His house is right behind the village, and that 10,000 acres of land belongs to him, said the old farmer. After she appeared, she noticed Qin Feng holding 2 elf balls. Before Qin Feng could speak, she said, "Come with me. Kid, just go with her. No matter how serious the injury is, she can help you heal it," the uncle said with a smile. Qin Feng nodded and walked into the small room, followed closely by Ibu. As for the mole, Qin Feng retrieved it from the Pokémon ball. After all, the way the mole walks is different. If it were allowed to walk, it would probably be dug up by it all the way. After entering the cabin, what caught the eye was a very simple and unadorned scene, with medicine jars scattered everywhere and the room filled with the fragrance of medicine. "Let's release the elf and let me see its injuries," the woman said. After listening, Qin Feng released the 2 monkey monsters directly. Seeing 2 monkey monsters, the woman's expression immediately became serious, and she took out some potions and tools to start operating. Qin Feng was not familiar with these things and could only wait on the sofa at the woman's command. After a while, 2 monkey monsters with bandages on their bodies appeared in front of Qin Feng. The injuries to both of them are very serious, and one of them even suffered a leg fracture. "As their trainer, you have to take responsibility for them," the woman said. Qin Feng's expression was slightly stunned, knowing that she had misunderstood him. Then he explained, "They are 2 wild monkey monsters. They fought against my elf and were defeated because they wanted to seize my crop seeds." Upon hearing this, the woman's expression softened slightly, and then she took out several bottles of potions from behind and placed them in front of Qin Feng. "The 2 of them suffered different injuries, but the medicine I prescribed can effectively treat them. 3 days later, the first monkey monster can move freely. As for the fractured monkey monster, it needs to rest for a week." The woman spoke up. "Thank you very much, doctor." "I don't know how much the treatment cost is," Qin Feng asked after thanking him. He inherited the family's farm, but Qin Feng's second grandfather did not leave any assets, and the funds for the accident were only 10,000 yuan. So, Qin Feng can only save as much as he can, but for elves, Qin Feng will not be reluctant to part ways and will do whatever it takes. "Let's forget about the money. The medicinal herbs used to make medicine are all collected by me in the wild. It wouldn't cost much, and I'm not short of money either. I'm a doctor and there's no place to spend money on medicine." "Well, you put in a lot of effort to save my elf and even used medication. How can you avoid the treatment fee?" Qin Feng did not expect the woman not to pay for the treatment, although from her appearance and temperament, he knew that she was not from the village and did not lack money. However, if there is no treatment fee, Qin Feng will feel like ants crawling on his body. The woman hesitated for a moment before asking. Uncle Lin said, "Do all the 10,000 acres of land behind the village belong to you?" "It belongs to my Qin family, and in my generation, I will inherit it." "That's great. I'm researching some new therapeutic drugs. If you find some special herbs in your field and help me pick some, it will be used as treatment fees." After receiving a positive answer from Qin Feng, the woman spoke up. "If that's the case, then Qin Feng can accept it." Qin Feng stood up, retrieved the 2 monkey monsters from the Pokémon ball, and asked, "I'm sorry to trouble you this time. I don't know your name yet. How should I address you?" "Luo Xian, just call me Dr. Luo," the woman replied without saying anything more. Qin Feng understood her meaning, said his own name, and then left directly. After returning home, Qin Feng released the 2 monkey monsters. "You can also understand me. From now on, I will be your trainer. I have disregarded the past, and from now on we will be companions. This is my home. You guys should rest in the house these days and I will take care of you." Looking at the 2 suddenly obedient monkey monsters, Qin Feng explained as usual. After hearing this, the two monkey monsters quickly nodded and straightened their bodies when they saw Ibrahimovic's gaze. It seems that the lawless and unruly monkey monsters in the forest can also become obedient after being beaten. After some treatment, their body's function is to continuously repair their injuries. This was very physically demanding, so Qin Feng poured 2 small pots of elf food for them to eat, gave them some advice, and then headed towards the cultivated farmland. After arriving at the farmland, Qin Feng nervously checked the situation. Shortly afterwards, Qin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, during the time we left, the farmland was unharmed. Perhaps because the mud covered the seeds of Wangwang Valley, there was no fragrance coming out, so it did not attract any wild elves. Release the groundhog and instruct it to keep an eye on this farmland. Subsequently, Qin Feng went to the village again. After a little inquiry, Qin Feng arrived at a carpenter's house. I spent 1,000 gold coins and customized some fences and ropes for him to protect the farmland in the future. This price is not expensive, and the carpenter will still be responsible for installation after completion. Returning to the farmland, Qin Feng couldn't help but smile as he realized that his farm was also thriving and could receive goods in a month. Before the fence was completed, Qin Feng handed over the safety of this farmland to the ground squirrel. It is underground, which is more convenient to protect the safety of farmland and can also detect underground crises. When there is safety, it will return home to notify. So the next step is to explore this unknown area. Qin Feng stood by the edge of the farmland, looking towards the forest ahead filled with a sense of primitiveness. Listening to the constant roaring sounds at that time, Ibu beside him was full of excitement. Let's go explore this forest that belongs to us, but don't go too far. The elves inside are very powerful, and we can't beat them yet. The elves in the forest must be stronger than those on the edge. They occupy the best resources, so naturally they need to have matching strength. But it's not that Qin Feng is selfish. All of this belongs to him. Chapter 7. Orange fruit trees and circle bears, seeking freshness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After entering the forest, Qin Feng became very cautious. After all, this is entering a completely unfamiliar and extremely dangerous place. Although elves are loved, they are also very dangerous. Elves that have not been taught by humans or have not been in contact with humans are dangerous enough to be deadly. Even if it's the Carp King. On ancient trees, occasional bird spirits such as Bobo and Like can be seen, while in some dense leaf clusters, green caterpillars, spiny-tailed insects and other spirits can be faintly seen, which is enough to prove that this forest is very rich in resources. In fact, no matter what kind of elf they are, they all have territorial consciousness. Qin Feng and Ibu entered the forest for a few minutes, but were not attacked by the elves. So, they were actually watching. Observing whether Qin Feng can pose a threat to them, and whether Qin Feng's Ibu is powerful. However, in this area, since there are intact hunting lines, there should not be very powerful elves. After sorting it out, Qin Feng's speed of entering the forest with Ibu began to increase. Not long after, Qin Feng felt that the forest view ahead had become wider, and some huge ancient trees were also much fewer. In front of Qin Feng, there was a small pond, which was not small, at least about the size of a football field. But strangely, there was land in the middle of the pond, and above it, Qin Feng saw one of the things he wanted to find when he entered the forest this time. That is a fruit tree that is much smaller than the surrounding ancient trees, about 1 person tall, and on top of it, it bears round blue fruits with spots. It's an orange fruit. I'm sure I guessed it right. The hunting line in the forest is obvious, and the ecology is so rich. How could there be no wild fruit trees? However, this fruit tree actually grew in the middle of the pond. Judging from the appearance of the fruits on it, it seemed like they had been eaten by elves. After a brief moment of excitement, Qin Feng carefully scrutinized it. The fruit tree growing on the soil in the middle of the pond, although strange, is not impossible. However, some of the orange fruits above have been eaten, and it is obvious that some elves have long discovered the fruit tree of these oranges. After all, it is also so obvious. If you want to get these orange fruits, you may have trouble. Farm task. Wild orange fruit trees, task description. While exploring the forest, you discovered several orange fruit trees. However, you noticed that these trees clearly have owners. However, how could a farm not have an orchard? Please defeat the owner of the fruit trees, obtain them, and transplant them to the farm. Rewards. Manufacturing process of fast fertilizer, opening picture book tasks. As Qin Feng was pondering how to obtain these orange fruit trees, a panel suddenly appeared in front of him. It was the system that released the task. Looking at the task in front of him, Qin Feng suddenly felt like he was playing a game. Every time he encountered a difficult problem, the novice task would pop up and guide you to solve the problem. Although he thought so, Qin Feng really liked this feeling. After all, the task was to help develop his farm, and the rewards it gave were also very rich. The task of the guidebook, although Qin Feng was not sure what it was definitely related to subduing the elves. As for the reward for this fast fertilizer manufacturing process, Qin Feng is very attentive. This thing is a good thing that can accelerate the growth of fruit trees, at least a quarter of the growth rate. Farm is not just a simple variety of prosperous valleys, it is actually a very rich term. Rich in content, such as basic farming, orchard cultivation, aquaculture, and even cultivating valuable elves, all of which can be considered as part of the farm. To get to the land in the middle of the pond, you need to swim a considerable distance. I don't have any water instincts, so to achieve this, you also need a water system elf. To be ashamed, Qin Feng is a pure dry duck. For those who can swim, the waterway leading to the middle island is not far. But for Qin Feng, this is really a bit difficult for him. Moreover, this is the wilderness. There are definitely elves in the water, and Qin Feng can even vaguely see the shadows of several water-type elves floating on the water surface. Judging from their appearance, they seem to be a few mud loaches. From this perspective, there may also be an evolutionary catfish king with mud loaches inside. Before the existence of water system elves, even if Qin Feng had intentions, he could only temporarily give up. Dong! Dong! Suddenly, the calm ground began to shake, which immediately caught Qin Feng's attention. This made him unable to help but look towards the sound coming from, and coincidentally, a huge body appeared in Qin Feng's line of sight. Before Qin Feng could see its appearance clearly, a pair of crimson eyes met Qin Feng. At this moment, a ray of sunlight shone through the gaps in the branches and happened to shine on the huge body. In the next moment, Qin Feng also saw its appearance clearly. A massive and intimidating body, with thick brown hair and huge claws on both hands and feet, complemented by the iconic yellow circle in front of it, it feels oppressive. Name. Circle bear, gender. Male, attribute. General, level. 35, characteristic. Perseverance, individual values. Stamina, 20, attack, 24, defense, 18, special attack, 18, special defense, 18, speed, 15, skills. Grab, stare, grab randomly, fight back, split, collide, destroy dead light, terrifying face, playful. At the moment he saw its true appearance, Qin Feng recognized it. Isn't this just a circle bear? Moreover, the body size is so huge. A normal circle bear can only be about 1.8 meters tall, but what is the height of this circle bear? At least it's close to 3 meters. This is a giant size. At the moment he saw it, Qin Feng retreated with his right foot and prepared to escape, while Ibu also felt the pressure on the bear and his expression became very tense. Well. The circle bear suddenly struck its chest and let out a roar, followed by a punch that shattered the ancient tree in front of it, roaring towards Qin Feng. It is said that there are 3 major misfortunes in the forest. The first is encountering a startled deer and getting lost. The second is encountering a swarm of large needle bees with strong territorial consciousness. The third is encountering a forest thug circle bear. How could I be so unlucky? I've only been in here for a long time and I've encountered such a high-level circle bear. Ibrahimovic, run. Qin Feng was very decisive. At the moment he saw the action of the circle bear, he immediately reminded Ibu and ran towards the back. Ibu is also a mischievous calf, running even faster than Qin Feng. A raging ring bear, if caught by it, I don't know how miserable it would be to die. Chapter 8. Conquering Sun Coral and Water Stone, Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This circular bear, for some unknown reason, was extremely angry. Along the way, when encountering an ancient tree, it would not hesitate to punch it. But it was already an extremely irritable elf, and Qin Feng was not sure about the reason. Qin Feng only knew that if caught, he would face old sin. Fortunately, the method of circling the bear still caused trouble for itself. The ancient trees it interrupted fell one after another, and in the end, it actually blocked its path. And as it was preparing to continue chasing angrily, the figures of Qin Feng and Ibu had already disappeared. Well. The circle bear was furious and powerless, listening to the piercing cry of the fierce sparrow in its ear. With one punch, it hit the ancient tree not far away, causing the sparrow on the tree to flee in a hurry, afraid of provoking this forest thug. In just a few minutes, Qin Feng had already escaped from the forest area with Ibu, and deliberately avoided the position of his farmland, running in a different direction. After all, Qin Feng's cabin is not far from the farmland. Who knew that there was still a circled bear in the forest so close to the farmland? If this were to provoke it, it would be troublesome. When you run out of the forest area, what catches your eye is a vast and boundless grassland. On the grassland, it is clear to see Kenteros running wildly, with several small fiery horses snuggling together, basking in the sun. If Qin Feng hadn't seen the circle bear before, he might have thought it was a very beautiful world. At this moment, Ibrahimovic on the side sounded a warning. Qin Feng looked in the direction of Ibu, and not far away, a purple little Lotta was looking over here with a wary expression on its face. After staring at each other for a few seconds, little Lotta plunged into the grass and disappeared. Don't worry about it, let's go first. Zyalotta lives in a group, and there's no problem with a few Zyalotta. If there's a leader, we'll be in trouble. As Qin Feng spoke, he thought of walking on the other side. There is a large lake near another forest near the grassland. Since everyone has arrived here and has an elf ball on his body, Qin Feng is planning to directly subdue a water-type elf. When his strength becomes stronger in the future, he will transplant those orange fruit trees. In the short term, Qin Feng dare not go. After all, forest thugs circling bears is not a joke. Ibu seemed to be extremely interested in the adventure, even after experiencing what had just been chased, he had no fear at all. Instead, he was full of interest and obediently followed behind Qin Feng. Before long, a huge lake appeared in front of Qin Feng, even several times larger than the great pot lake in Zhuzi that Qin Feng had played with in his past life. In the center of the lake, a few Tyrannosaurus can be vaguely seen galloping, they are the overlords of the lake. On the edge of the lake near the land, there are many types of elves, such as the big claw crab, carp king, ugly fish, horned goldfish, mosquito-repellent tadpoles and other water system elves, which can be seen almost everywhere here. Not only in novels, but even in today's world where the levels are strict, these weak elves have no right to go deep into the center of a lake with more living space, which is the territory of powerful elves such as the Tyrannosaurus rex. Qin Feng's arrival was noticed by many elves, who were naturally vigilant. Those who could swim immediately jumped into the water, revealing a pair of vigilant eyes as they watched. And those who cannot be launched and those who cannot be launched temporarily are both showing a combat attitude or avoiding them. Sang. Just as Qin Feng looked at the information of these elves and thought about which one to tame would be beneficial to the farm and his crossing of the forest pond, a voice came from ancient times. Qin Feng looked up and saw an elf crawling up from the bottom of the water with both feet on the surface of the water ahead. Its body surface is pink, its abdomen and limbs are white, and it has multiple staggered horns or coral branches on its body. Name. Sun coral, gender. Female, properties. Water, rock, level. 15, characteristic. Vitality, individual values. Stamina, 13, attack, 10, defense, 16, special attack, 13, special defense, 16, speed, 9, skills. Impact, harden, water gun, water ring, hold. What appeared in front of Qin Feng was a common sun coral, but it was different from the sun coral on TV, specifically the position of the coral branch above the head. In fact, this is normal. The coral branches on the top of each sun coral grow randomly. Not all the coral branches on the top of each sun coral are the same, long and short, thick and thicker. Farm task. Challenge of strange elves, task description. A solar coral poses a challenge to a future great farmer. How could a future great farmer be defeated by a solar coral? Defeat it and capture it. Task reward. Water stone, sang. The sun coral's short hands were waving at this moment, and its eyes were full of energy, as if it was challenging. Whether it's humans, animals, or elves, they all have a belligerent nature, and this sun coral is obviously very belligerent. Sun coral is one of my aquaculture goals, and its size is not small enough to carry me to the small island in the center of the pond. Speaking, Qin Feng smiled. Moreover, this is a challenge for me in Ibrahimovic, and I cannot refuse it. Up. Ibrahimovic. Get close to it quickly. Ibu was actually very aggressive. At the moment Qin Feng gave the order, Ibu's figure rushed out. Puff. There was a hint of disdain in Sun Coral's eyes, and then he suddenly spat out a jet of water from his mouth. Ibrahimovic reacted quickly and faced a water gun attack, quickly jumping to avoid it. However, before Ibrahimovic could land, a pink figure appeared in front of him. Immediately after, Ibrahimovic felt a tremendous impact and his body flew out uncontrollably. How are you doing? Qin Feng's face was solemn and he quickly shouted out. This sun coral has rich combat experience, with a water gun forcing out Ibrahimovic's position and a collision attack immediately following. IB stood up, his small sharp teeth biting his lips, and turned his head to signal to Qin Feng that he was okay. Okay, let's use digging. IB's two small claws quickly dug towards the ground, and soon an additional hole appeared on the ground. Sun Coral looked around nervously, as if trying to locate Ibrahimovic. Flash of lightning. And the next second, under the body of the Sun Coral, IB suddenly broke through the ground and transformed into a white light, which suddenly knocked the Sun Coral away. Digging a hole with a flash of electric light, dual attack. Use sand splashing to block the view of the Sun Coral, then use lightning again. Qin Feng seized the opportunity to give another order, and Ibu inserted his claws into the ground, immediately throwing all the soil towards the Sun Coral. The mud by the lake became even wetter, and when it landed on the Sun Coral, it immediately put great pressure on it. However, a lump of mud happened to fall on its eyes, completely blocking its view, and it suddenly became a bit flustered. Bang! At the next moment, Ibrahimovic's figure had already arrived in front of it, and he forcefully knocked it away, ultimately falling to the ground. Upon seeing this, Qin Feng also threw the Pokémon ball towards the Sun Coral. The Pokéball bounced onto the Sun Coral and was then placed into the goal. After the shaking was over, the Pokéball remained motionless on the ground. At this moment, a sky blue stone is quietly falling into the system space. Qin Feng stepped forward to pick up the fairy ball of the sun coral, with an excited expression in his eyes. Sun coral, get. Chapter 9. Little Mushroom and Big Mushroom, seeking evaluation votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The battle on the shore, although short-lived, also attracted many water elves. Qin Feng had already seen several mosquito-repellent frogs and Gotha ducks coming towards him, accompanied by water gun attacks. Damn territorial consciousness, this is clearly my territory. Ibrahimovic, it's time to go. Qin Feng could only helplessly remind Ibu, then turned his head and left. Whether it's farmland, orchards, or aquaculture, Qin Feng can't take it all at once and can only take it step by step. However, having conquered the sun coral and the water elves is like taking a big step forward. Holding the fairy ball of the sun coral, Qin Feng and Ibu hurriedly returned to their small house. It was already noon, and Qin Feng prepared elf food for the two monkey monsters, while also bringing a portion to the ground squirrel guarding the farmland. From the appearance of the mole in the farmland, it can be inferred that no elves came to cause trouble during this period. Now it seems that the farmland has stabilized, but continuous mining is still needed. After all, Wangwang Valley can mature in a month, and there are still more than 2 months left until winter. It can approach 3 batches of maturity, and of course, the more farmland can be cultivated, the better. In the afternoon, after dinner, Qin Feng carried a hoe and took Ibu to the farmland. This time, Qin Feng planned the cultivation of the farmland, with the current farmland as the center, opening up new farmland in the surrounding areas, and leaving pedestrian roads and fence placement. The two monkey monsters stayed at home too idle. They had to follow them anyway. Although they were injured, they took the initiative to do chores, not because of Ibrahim's threat. The mole rat was extremely happy. When Qin Feng cultivated a field, it plowed it well. Sometimes, even when Qin Feng dug up some grass roots, branches, insects, and other things from the field, it happily ate them. It is meant to make a living by eating these things, and the work it does is almost effortless. It is the only one besides Qin Feng who hopes to continue cultivating farmland. After all, it can play and eat. Qin Feng also released the sun coral to help water it, but Qin Feng underestimated its enthusiasm. At the moment it released it, it smiled and rushed towards Qin Feng. Its body, which was already larger than ordinary sun coral, landed on Qin Feng's body and immediately pressed him to the ground. Up and down, to be honest, the sun coral was a bit heavy, and Qin Feng couldn't even get up for a while. After receiving Qin Feng's order, it happily poured water on the farmland. At first, Ibu was very interested in helping Qin Feng sow seeds, but later on, this repetitive and monotonous work suddenly lost its interest. After confirming that Qin Feng was not in danger, it ran around to take a look here and there, and did not go far. Even discovering a bug can make it very happy. Looking at the vibrant farmland after his labor and the elves accompanying him, Qin Feng wiped the sweat off his forehead and felt as if he wasn't too tired anymore. Qin Feng was busy for a while, ready to sit on a wooden stake to rest. However, Ibu stumbled towards this side, seemingly holding something in his mouth. From a distance, Qin Feng couldn't see it clearly, only knowing it was something the size of Ibu's head. Qin Feng stood up curiously and headed towards Ibu. When Qin Feng arrived in front of Ibu, he realized that Ibu was actually holding a mushroom in his mouth. After picking up the mushroom from Ibu's mouth, Qin Feng looked at the tooth marks left by Ibu and then learned the type and name of the mushroom based on its appearance. Surprisingly, it's a big mushroom. This type of mushroom is very precious and difficult to breed artificially, usually only found in the wild. Because its taste is good, whether it's boiling soup or slicing and stir-frying meat, it's a masterpiece. Even in the city it's extremely expensive. Qin Feng didn't expect that Ibu would come back with a big mushroom in his mouth, but the next moment, Qin Feng became a bit excited. Because things like mushrooms grow in patches under ancient trees and do not appear alone. Ibu, where did you find this big mushroom? Qin Feng quickly asked. Ib. Seeing that the big mushroom he brought back was useful, Ibrahimovic shouted excitedly and then ran towards the front. Qin Feng quickly caught up. Before long, after walking a distance of about a few hundred meters, a shrub appeared in front of him, and Ibrahimovic burrowed directly into it. Qin Feng followed suit upon seeing this, and the next moment, the scene before him left Qin Feng stunned. In front, there are dozens of wooden stakes, all of which are very large, and clear growth rings can be seen on them. I don't know what kind of elf it was made of, but it was cut very smoothly, and it seems like a long time has passed. After all, small and large mushrooms are growing all over and around the wooden stake. Small mushrooms and large mushrooms grow together and are both valuable. Such a large area, at least not less than 100 mushrooms, just selling them alone is enough to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Ib, you are really my lucky star. Qin Feng happily hugged Ibu and kissed him, then began picking up these small and large mushrooms, all of which were money. Ibu also worked hard to break the mushroom off the tree stump with his claws. He didn't know why Qin Feng was happy, but as long as the trainer was happy, he would be happy. In no time, Qin Feng finished picking all the small and large mushrooms, a total of 120, neither too many nor too many. I went back and took a basket, so I put all these mushrooms inside. The sudden property left Qin Feng with no intention of continuing to cultivate, so he took it as an afternoon off for himself. Returning home, Qin Feng divided the small mushroom and the large mushroom, and then took out a third each to pack them again. He then carried them on his back and walked towards the door. Ibrahimovic. Watching Qin Feng leave with a mushroom on his back, Ibu followed him with some confusion. Qin Feng smiled and said, "We went to the village chief's house and came here for 2 days. The village chief gave me a lot of help. Giving me money directly is too common, and simple rural people will not accept it. It's probably difficult for the village chief to see the small and large mushrooms, so I'll give him some as a thank you for your help before." Ib. Ibu ran happily ahead, but in fact, Qin Feng sighed more than once inside the house, thanks to the help of the village chief. Ibu also knew that the village chief was a good person. After asking the villagers about the location of the village head's house, Qin Feng carried a basket and came to a 2-story self-built house. Qin Feng came forward and knocked on the door. Woo! Woo! But the next moment, the door suddenly opened, and then a Katy dog angrily roared at Qin Feng. P.S. The data on the first day barely reached the passing line. The update time is limited to 4 chapters per day, 1 chapter in the morning, 1 chapter in the afternoon, and 2 chapters in the evening. If there is no saved manuscript, it will be written and sent out. It looks like 3 to 4 chapters. If you like to read more, just support flowers and feedback tickets to let me know that there are still people to read. As we all know, if the data is not good, you will directly cut the book. After all, knowing whether a book can continue to be written only requires 10,000 words of trial and error. Chapter 10. The Proud Katy Dog. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So fierce. Are they the children of the village chief's 2 wind speed dogs? Qin Feng didn't care about the Katy dog, but curiously looked at its information. Name. Katy dog, gender. Male, attribute. Fire, level. 10, feature. Ignite, individual values. Stamina, 22, attack, 26, defense, 20, special attack, 26, special defense, 21, speed, 23, skills. Stare, spark, bite, flame teeth, flame will, long howl, the individual value is very good. Even if the level is a bit low, they can actually comprehend flame teeth and flame wheel. Is it because their parents' wind speed dogs are powerful and inherited? Qin Feng looked at the Katy dog with some surprise. In the eyes of the Katy dog, it seemed to be a provocation towards it. It let out an angry roar and then ran towards Qin Feng, trying to drive away the stranger. Upon seeing this, Ibrahimovic's lightning flashed and he rushed towards the Katy dog. Woo! Katy let out a howl, and his two canine teeth were immediately covered in flames, ready to bite towards Ibrahimovic. Katy dog, shut up. Way! At this moment, a cold drink suddenly came. Upon hearing this sound, Katy's dog's attack also stopped. Ibrahimovic, you also stop. Qin Feng saw this and said to Ibu. Ibrahimovic also suddenly stopped. That voice, Qin Feng is very familiar with, it should be the voice of the village chief, Grandpa Song. As expected, a wind-speed dog was running towards us not far away, and the village chief, Grandpa Song, was sitting on it. Grandpa Song got off Wind Dog and then came to Katy Dog. He furrowed his brow and said, Katy Dog, who let you out? You almost attacked my guest. Upon hearing Grandpa Song's scolding, Katy's face trembled with anger, and then she turned her head as if in anger and walked towards the house. Seeing this, Grandpa Song also felt a bit helpless and turned to Qin Feng, saying, Fortunately, I heard someone in the village tell me that after you came to my house, I rushed back immediately. Otherwise, it would have really caused Katy Dog to do something bad. Qin Feng smiled and looked at the Katy Dog hiding behind the door with one eye exposed. He couldn't help but ask, Grandpa Song, it didn't hurt me either, it's okay. By the way, what's wrong with that Katy Dog? Although Katy dogs are essential spirits for defense, even domestic police use them, it is still rare for this Katy dog to launch attacks without warning. Grandpa Song naturally noticed the Katy dog hiding behind the door and said helplessly, that child, he was just born a week ago. As you can see, he is the child of my two wind-speed dogs. Both of my wind-speed dogs have good talents, and as their offspring, the Katy dog has even better talent, and even inherited two not weak skills. Not long after being born, it has already had good strength, and its current temper is also my fault. It wants to protect the farmland for me like its parents. I saw that it was just born not long ago, and I was afraid of accidents, so I didn't agree to it. Next, it's the same as what you saw. This child is getting angry with me. After listening, Qin Feng was a bit surprised. Originally, it was because of the great grievances or anger this Katy dog had, which was why this temper was so intense. Unexpectedly, it was just anger. By the way, shouldn't you be busy cultivating farmland as preparation for next year's planting? Why did you come to me? Grandpa Song only then realized that Qin Feng was carrying a basket on his back and asked curiously. Qin Feng also realized that he had come to deliver mushrooms, and then placed the basket on the ground. Grandpa Song, these are the small and large mushrooms that my Ibu found in the field. You have helped me so much before and arranged everything for me. I haven't thanked you properly yet, so I want to give them to you with these small and large mushrooms. Oh, you're so polite. Your grandfather has been my good friend for many years, and this busyness doesn't matter much. You even personally brought something over. Grandpa Song was not polite either, and then instructed the wind dog to lift the basket back. Soon, there were screams of agony. Inside the house, Qin Feng was not sure what Katy dog had experienced. Seeing Grandpa Song accept the mushrooms, Qin Feng said goodbye and prepared to leave. Wait a moment, Qin, even if you only cultivate a small area of your 10,000 acres of land in the future, it will be considered very large. You should need a reliable helper, right? Grandpa Song suddenly spoke up. Qin Feng stopped in his tracks, feeling somewhat puzzled. At this moment, at the entrance, the wind dog walked out first and then roared into the house. Not long after, the somewhat disheveled Katy dog twisted its head and walked out of the room, seeming to have a look of defiance. Although this child is still young, these days it seems to have a unique ability. Your farmland is close to the wilderness, and without a strong helper, you may be attacked by wild elves. Your second grandfather asked me to help you prepare a suitable initial elf for your farm, and it happened that Katy Dog was born not long ago. I had planned to bring it to you in a few days, but you already have an elf, Grandpa Song said. Qin Feng suddenly understood the meaning. Although he had subdued 4 elves in the past 2 days, he wouldn't mind too much. In the future, as the farm grew larger, elves were needed to protect it. And Katy Dogs, as elves with good sense of smell and strength, are good at protecting farms. Qin Feng came to Katy Dog and took out an empty Pokémon ball. Then he asked, Katy Dog, you must have heard Grandpa Song's words too. Are you willing to come with me? The evolution of Katy Dogs requires the Fire Stone, and the price of these evolution stones is not cheap, at least close to 100,000 yuan. However, since the system has rewarded the Water Stone, it may not be possible to reward the Fire Stone in the future. Woo! Katy Dog's gaze was flickering, still arrogantly twisting its head, not looking at Qin Feng. Hee, if you don't answer me, I'll assume you agreed. Qin Feng smiled and held the Pokéball, touching the body of Katy Dog. The next moment, Katy Dog was loaded into it by the Pokéball. The elf ball was shaking in Qin Feng's hand, but it only shook briefly before stopping. Interesting, even though he really wanted to come with me, he still arrogantly didn't answer. Qin Feng looked at the Pokémon ball in his hand with a Katy Dog and couldn't help but smile. Elves, like humans, have ever-changing personalities. This child has a somewhat reckless personality, you need to pay more attention, Grandpa Song came to his side and said. Qin Feng nodded and said, well, it's just that it has a slightly arrogant personality, but based on its previous situation, it's a trustworthy companion who can be well guarded. I will take good care of it. Then I'll trouble you. If you have anything to do in the future, just come to me directly. Grandpa Song said and took out a mobile phone from his pocket. Let's add a contact information, and I will inform you of the situation nearby. Although I have prepared everything for you, it may not be fully prepared. There is a market nearby, and if you have anything you want to buy, you can go to the market.